All right. So we come to the Q&A again. So today we have, I think we have 5 questions. And before we start, now here this week, 2 persons that I know of, they passed away. One is brother James. He also is one of the very pioneer of lay pioneer teacher, a lay teacher, and start Vipassana teachings in the, I think maybe in the 70s. So recently passed away 2 or 3 days ago, 3 days ago, passed away of a heart attack. And then yesterday also, another one also, Brother Chi Huat. Brother Chi Huat also sometimes come to our Zoom meeting here. Sometimes, not all the time. So he also passed away. Heart attack also. You see? When will be our turn? Before our turn, let's look into the Q&A first. All right. Okay. Can you see? Okay. Okay, question 1. Regarding ill will, sometimes I already know that anger arises. Being angry and having the desire to utter harsh words, because I think that if it's not released, it feels unsatisfied in my heart, and I know that it's not good at all. How can I stop it before it comes out through the speech? Okay, well enough, good. So what can we do then? What can we do then when, all of us go through this? We can relate to this question very well. Because when the anger comes out, we also want to speak out our mind, and sometimes the speech can be very harsh, can be very hurtful to others. Because we want to give them a piece of our mind, But the thing is that how can we stop it before all these things arise? Now, there are 2 parts here. One is the mental anger, right? The other one is the verbal anger. It's a verbal speech that's connected with anger. When we view these things in the sense of karma, then there will be 2 types of karma that's going to arise. Unwholesome karma, if you do both. But as a practitioner, for most of you are practitioner, and also as a Buddhist, perhaps we can control one of it. And we should control one of it because the other one is more difficult to control. Which one do you think is easier to control? The speech is actually easier to control. The mind is difficult to control. So therefore, we caught as a layperson and also as not an enlightened person yet, we try to minimize this. We try to minimize our anger and let it stay in the mind will do. Okay? Now, how can I stop the speech then? Now, there are a few things that we can do. Perhaps that in our everyday life. And these things, when we do it, we have to do it frequently, not one time and then you think that you win the battle. This you have to do it again and again. So what can we do before it comes out through the speech? One of it that we can do is to reflect on our karma. Reflect on the karma is before all this anger arises. We know that we have a tendency to go into anger or resentment or ill will or hatred. When we know ourselves in that way, then it will be good that we reflect on the karma that is connected with anger. Then if you reflect on the karma, that means when you say, if inside you, if you reflect on the karma, whenever the anger arises, there will be consequences, there will be effect. Then also we reflect that if there's a harsh speech coming out from our mouth, and then therefore we will bear with another type of karma. Now, with that, sometimes some of us, when we reflect on the karma, then we know its consequences, and its terrible consequences that comes together with the karma and of a mental karma and the verbal karma. When we reflect on these things, then perhaps it may stop us from speaking out. Although mental, it's still there. Mental is still there. But when we repeat it again and again, therefore, this repetition of reflection, it will help us to minimize our anger whenever it arises. So when they arises, because of a past reflection that you have, then it will minimize the anger. When it minimizes the mental anger, then the speech also is not so, and the speech also can be controlled. But the mind one, very difficult. You can minimize it, but it will still come up. This is one thing perhaps we can do about anger. What else that we can do about anger? And we're going to talk about this thing also on coming Monday also. Now, another thing is that when we are angry with somebody, sometimes it may be our loved ones, right? It can be our colleague, it can be people that are very near to us. And sometimes out of closeness and out of our attitude and our tendency, we are not so reserved. When we are with the people out there, perhaps with those people we do not know, sometimes we are more reserved. We are more controlled in our speech. But when we are with the people that we are near, and the people those people that knows you very well, like your family members, then they know your ways, they know your attitude, then you have no sort of barrier. You have no barrier. You have you are you. Therefore, with that, sometimes our speech comes out sometimes very harsh, sometimes very hurtful, sometimes very it makes somebody very sad. Or makes somebody else very angry. And when we think about it, when we reflect about it, now here it's where what we call the self-admonishment comes in. Now it would be good that sometimes we admonish ourselves, that we find that we do not want to hurt other people. They are our loved one, they are our colleague, they are very helpful to us. We are grateful for them in a certain sense, but sometimes out of a spark of anger, a big spark of anger, and then it's all come out, and then our speech comes out. So here it would be good that we remind ourselves, we admonish ourselves. We admonish ourselves that say, better don't speak it out. If not, later on, I will regret it. I will regret it, and then when I regret it, it will be a terrible life. It will be a terrible thing to do. So when we admonish ourselves in that way, and we say that don't speak it out, don't speak it out, Although you're angry, but control. Now, when you do that, when you admonish yourself and you control yourself and you control the speech, the anger is still there. The anger is not there. But when you do that, then it helps to minimize the anger, and therefore the speech will not come out. But again, this one you have to do it again and again. Sometimes we are taught that just like the question says that you must let go everything, you must let go everything. And exactly because you let go all the anger and all the harsh speech and so on, then in the future we may regret those words, And sometimes we have quarrel with our parents, sometimes we quarrel with our children, our spouse, and so on. And then over time, people can still remember those words that you used. And it's very hurtful. Sometimes you want to apologize, but the person may already pass away. Then you may hold that regret throughout your whole life. You think that you are not supposed to speak it out. So these things also it's good for us to remind ourselves, not to speak out those words. And then what else can we do? So you admonish yourself so that you don't get regret. You don't have regret in the future. That will be important. The regret is a terrible thing, because sometimes this regret in some yogis, that I know of, those regret become very obvious, like a big stumbling block. Because those words they use or certain actions they have done, and then they regret those actions because of maybe of ignorance, really ignorance, and then sort of every time they meditate, those big regret, it's just keep on coming up. Every time the regret come up, they cry or they get angry and so on, because in the past there's no control. So you got to be careful for all of these things. What else can we do? What else can we do? Now, certain things that we can do again here is this is a reminder. A reminder, or again, is also kind of a self-admonishment. Is that we tell ourselves that whenever we are angry, don't react and don't respond. Whenever we are angry. Because once you respond or you react with action or speech, you will do it with the basis of anger. With the basis of anger. And then your speech will always not be right, and there'll be a lot of wrong things. So we have to remind ourselves, if we are angry, don't react yet. But sometimes you need to speak, right? Not to say that every time you get angry or somebody do something, somebody say something, and then you get angry, and then you say it out, So because of our anger, a lot of times our speech can go very terrible, or our actions. Sometimes, if you are not careful, sometimes we can be hurtful physically to other people, not just only verbally or physically. So you got to remind yourself, when you are angry, don't react, don't talk about it, don't open up your mouth. So that time it will be good that, because if you are a meditator, then it is good that we can able to watch the mind. That also is very good. Just to remind ourselves again and again, whenever whenever we are angry, don't open our mouth, don't react. But as I said, sometimes we need to respond. We need to respond to the person or to the something, to the situation. Now, it will be good that when your anger calms down, only when your anger comes down, when your mind is clear, then only you speak you speak with your mind. With whatever that you feel that is wrong, you need to make it right. And that time you speak out, usually with more understanding and a little bit more wisdom rather than anger. So this one you have to take note that whenever you are angry, don't open up your mouth until when your fire starts to disappear, already gone. Then only slowly you talk about it. Sometimes it's still a little bit here and there, so just be careful. The moment you open up your mouth, everything up again. The fire comes up again. What else can we do? Now, in the daily life, that you don't have to go into jhana on metta, on karuna, on mudita, upekka. You don't have to go into jhana, but it's good that constantly you remind ourselves about metta, karuna, mudita, upekka. You don't have to wait for an occasion for you to do it, Don't wait until you are angry only. May you be well and happy. It won't work at that time. It won't work. You have to do it before all these things happen. That means constantly, like regularly, every day. You sit down there. May all beings around here be well and happy. May all the family members be free from harm and danger. May I be free from may I be free from all the mental suffering. Then may people around here be free from all the whatever suffering that they are going through. Then if you see a COVID situation, people get things are getting worse, and you see people are suffering in your in your video, in your WhatsApp or Facebook, whatever. Then while you're seeing it, instead of crying, instead of feeling sad, then may all of them be free from whatever suffering that they are going through. May free from the COVID, may free from all the disease that they are going through, rather than feeling sad about it. That also, it helps to calm the mind, because, as I said, sadness and anger, ill will, they're all cousins, they're all brothers. They're closely connected. Or in the other times when you see people getting promotion, people getting some kind of a good luck, and then here you are, you be happy for them, be happy for their gains and their achievements. So instead of getting jealous about that situation, because again, jealousy is connected with ill will. And then again here, upekka. Upekka is one of the most difficult for us to do. First three is a little bit easier to do, but upekka is that upekka comes in also, it helps us to overcome our dissatisfaction of life, general dissatisfaction. For example, like we are going through this situation of COVID, and you cannot go out. You are stuck at your home. You are work at home. You cannot dine here. You cannot go to a restaurant. You got to tapao and all that thing. Then you find that things are getting difficult. So what you do is that you learn to be patient. You learn to be patient at this time. And also that whenever you see people suffering, and yet sometimes you cannot help, then you be equanimous. And you be equanimous in the sense that you reflect that all beings are owners of their own karma. All beings are owners of their own karma. So when you reflect on karma in that sense, you also reflect on upekka. Because upekka is kind of like a middle, and it helps you not to get fluctuate into anger or dissatisfaction. And also, upekka doesn't help it also helps you not to get attached to everything that is beautiful and so on. You kind of like learn to live in the middle. Your mind is not fluctuated here and there. So that will be helpful. So in the next week also, we're going to talk a little bit on all these four, because all these four helps you to overcome ill will, anger, sadness, fear, and so on. And it'll be very good. So therefore, when we have the time, whether you are at office, whether you are at home, whether you are waiting for a bus, whether you're in the bus, then we radiate metta, we radiate karuna, we radiate mudita, we radiate or upekkha in that sense. And certain situation in life, sometimes metta is not the appropriate time. Sometimes it's the mudita is the appropriate. Sometimes the karuna will be appropriate. Sometimes upekkha will be appropriate. So not all the time metta. So if you can able to do that, so next time when your anger arises, because of your metta that you have frequently, that you reflect, then therefore immediately the anger becomes small. Not to say you don't have, you're not arahant yet or anagami. So, but it becomes much more minimal. It becomes much more controllable. This is very helpful for metta. Then, of course, our daily mindfulness. All the practice that you have gone through, the mindfulness here and there. Now, every now and then, you help yourself, or you train your mind in a small dose of mindfulness. Don't wait until your anger comes in, only you want to note the anger. Small dose of mindfulness here and there. That means you want to sit down to eat, then just be mindful for a short while. You are here in the present. Rather than talking to all your friends, just be here, be present. Just for 30 seconds, 1 minute. Then when you want to, another time you are washing your hands, then just be there. Another time when you're brushing your teeth, just for a short while, just know that you are brushing your teeth. By that training, again and again, it helps the mind to become more sharper in detecting your mental states and your bodily actions. It helps you to, in the sense that next time when the anger arises, very quickly you already catch hold of it because of the training of the past. That it comes up, you're really watchful of that situation already. That mental thing. If you can do that, that would be very good. Then other times, what can you do? Now there will be times, not all situations. There will be times that you have to be really patient. Really patient. Next week we'll talk about it now. Sometimes you got to be really patient. Sometimes the patient will it will help you to overcome the anger. Your own anger and also another person's anger. Because sometimes the other person, because of angry, just simply speak already, and then you also get angry. But if you are patient, you hold on for a while, then sometimes the person also, the anger will disappear. What else? Certain situation, not all situation, but certain situation, sometimes you got to walk away. Walk away from that situation and go out for a while, whenever you are angry, if you can. Because sometimes it is out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. This is nature of conditioning. If you out of sight, out of mind. Recently, there was a past yogi. He's a devotee quarreling with the mother. Quarrel, and then get things so bad, then want to commit suicide. I say, Luckily that the mom is going to go back to another state, in a few days. I said, just hold on for a while. Then once you can, you have to talk through everything. Once the mom is going away and everything, then usually the anger is going to settle down, because when you don't see each other, then the anger will settle down. So anger is a terrible thing, for some people. Anger is a terrible, terrible thing. Okay, this is some of the things that we can do. Of course, there are many, many more things that we can do. There are many more things that we can do to control that anger before it comes out into the speech. But if you train those things again and again, when you train those things, then next time your habit is that it's a mental anger, but it doesn't flow into the speech. But it takes some time. It takes some time. As I said, it's not easy. It's not easy. Even you know the theory, next time when you get angry, the speech will still wants to come out. Or it will come out also. So that time, again, you reflect again and again until in the future, things become much more smoother. Okay? All right. Question from the same person. Yeah? It's connected with ill will and anger also. Bhante, I know the theory whether it is a feeling of physical or mental pain such as anger, sadness, wandering thoughts must be noted. Should I develop metta meditation first for about 15 minutes? Because I tend to have more ill will thoughts arise in my mind. After that, should I start vipassana meditation? All right. Now this one, if it all depends on situation. Now, since you're at home, most probably, since you're at home, it will be good that we start off with this metta. It'll be very good, or karuna, or mudita, or upekkha also. It'll be very good. Now, if you find that for that particular day or particular sitting, your metta is quite flowing, then the time you continue with the metta for a longer period of time, maybe up to half an hour, 45 minutes, or 1 whole hour, or 2 hours, depending if you know how to do it. Don't worry about vipassana if you are at home meditating. You want to do it for 2 weeks, also can if you want to. 3 weeks also can. As long as you meditate, whether it's samatha, some vipassana or samatha like metta, they'll be very good. At least you do something to cultivate the mind. Not necessarily all the time vipassana, Not all if you're at home meditating. Sometimes you can do like 2 weeks metta, 2 weeks vipassana, and then you go back to metta again. It can be done in that way also. Some people like to do it like 15 minutes, half an hour of metta, then only they start off with vipassana. Also depending on you. So sometimes the way I look at it, sometimes if you give yourself like a longer period of development of metta, then sometimes you see it's how to do, what to do, when not to do, those things, because you're putting more time into it. Then it's good that in the future, then that metta will become very helpful for the vipassana. Now, when you're in a retreat, then there's a different thing. It depends on what retreat that you're going through. If you are going for a vipassana retreat, then your metta should be like 15 minutes. And also not every sitting or every walking that you should do that. Now, when we do metta in the retreat, perhaps maybe to start off the mind. If sometimes the mind may not be so mindful, not easy settled down, then we start with metta 15-20 minutes in order to settle the mind. Then we start off with vipassana. That'll be very good. But sometimes during the retreat, if your vipassana is going well, things are going smoothly, rising, falling, going smoothly, walking is going well, then that time you don't bring in the metta. You don't go and disturb the mind in that sense. You don't disturb the flow of the vipassana. So during in the retreat, there's a certain way of when you should do and when you should not do. But in at home, because you are not in the retreat, then you can do something like a bit longer period of time for metta, and then after that for just for 2 weeks, just to make a variety of meditation. Because sometimes when you do vipassana for a long period of time, things can get like not going well, very dry, and like rising, falling, what else? In breath, out breath, in breath, out breath, what else? Nothing much to see. And then nothing much to see, it'll be good that just to switch over to metta for a longer period of time, then when you come back to your vipassana. And it's perfectly all right for you to do that. Okay? So this is on the second question. Third question. All right. Third question. Bhante, sometimes I have bad dream, and when I wake up, my head feel pain and sweating. Does this have connection with the practice, or my mind is not pure? Thanks. Okay. Now, when you have bad dream, it may not connected to your practice, and also it may not, it's in general, of course, our mind is not pure. If it's pure like an arahant, then we don't have to worry, So generally sometimes our mind may be not pure, and then bad dreams may come up. Because why not pure? Because sometimes in life we are too greedy. We are too greedy of wanting this, wanting that, and then when it comes into a bad dream, and then you are like running away from a lot of things, or something is trying to pressure you, something is come after you, because suddenly sometimes in your dream your conscience come up. Anyway, we are not. You ask me about bad dream, about things about dream, I cannot interpret all these things for you, because sometimes all these dreams can be connected to our daily life. Sometimes your daily life may be doing a lot of wholesome deeds. You do dana, copying a sila, meditating. Then at night, still all these terrible thoughts come up. Sometimes I see that my mind too, that the whole day is doing vipassana, day after day doing vipassana. The mind is mindful, the mind is clear, but at night when it's dreaming, it come and dreaming. I was running away. I was running in the dream and all that thing. So your whole day, your mind is not really much of thinking, but at night it's everything like it's come out. So it's very hard to say, So I have no good explanation for it, because usually I don't go into interpreting of dreams and so on. And also it's disallowed by the Buddha, in the sense that as a monk, you can interpret dreams for other people. It's like a wrong livelihood. Just like another thing is like a palmistry. You look at your life and how long you're going to live and so on. Those things are called wrong livelihood. So all these bad dreams, you cannot control these dreams. You cannot really control the dreams. All you need to do is that when you wake up, relax yourself. Relax yourself if you can. You be mindful. Feel the pain for a while. Just learn to accept the pain. Learn to accept the sweating for a while. Calm down yourself, and then if you can able to sleep after that, go on. Don't go and interpret that. Oh, what happened, and so on and so forth. Sometimes in the middle of the night, also I dream once in a while, but just let it go, and then just carry on to sleep. I don't go and interpret that. What did I do in the daily life? Did I do this? Did I not do that? Don't go and connect with it. If you don't go and connect with it, you don't give the power to all these dreams, bad dreams, wholesome dreams, or whatever. You don't go and give the power into it. Then after that, your life is better. Sometimes there are these dreams also. I think sometimes these dreams also. Sometimes I think the devas also can put inside something into your dreams. Somehow or another, it can manipulate your chitta also. Manipulate your consciousness. Maybe there are many things. Actually, there are Buddha talk about the dreams and so on. There are a number of things, but I felt that I don't want to go through all these things because it's quite a lot actually. And as I said, I don't want to get connected with all these things. If not, next time, some people, some devotees, they will keep on coming and see me about dreams here, dream there. When they dream of number, they don't come and see me. They dream all this bad dream only, they come and see the monk. Anyway. All right. Next question. This is not me. This am I not. This is not myself. If not mistaken, this is from Sappasava Sutta. Is this a valid vipassana instruction? Number 2, if one is a valid vipassana instruction, why not? This is impermanent. This is not everlasting. It ceases. Appreciate your elucidation. All right. Now, the question 1. Question 1, this is not me, this am I not. This is not myself. This phrase comes from many parts of the Tipitaka. One of it is like what you say in Sabbasava Sutta. Another one is the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta. Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, it gives the both side of it. Both sides of it. After we talk about it. Now, the question here, is this a valid vipassana instruction? 90% of my answer is no. Or maybe 95% of the answer is no. Maybe 5% or even 1% the answer may be yes. So, most of you will fall into the category of the 95%. Then this is not a good instruction. You see, when we are looking in this thing, this is what we are doing, Etang mama eso asmi eso me atta. This is mine. This I am, or this am I. This is myself. Then, with the development of vipassana, with the development of vipassana instruction, then it will come to this is not me. This am I not. This is not myself. Now, two of this. You see, this is not me, this am I not, this is not myself. These are what we call the resultant of a vipassana development or vipassana instruction. This is a resultant. This is your problem. The top one, this is your problem. This is mine. This I am. This is myself. This is all our problem. This is mine means connected with craving. This I am connected with conceit. This is myself connected with wrong view of tanha mana ditthi. And in the past, I think some months back, we've been talking about tanha mana ditthi. This is what you have right now. We are born with it from samsara. go through the cycle of birth and rebirth, and we still have these things. I mean, because of the vipassana that we have, then we hopefully, and in the future, it will come into this is not me, this I am not. Am I not? This is not myself. So that means without craving, without conceit, without wrong view. So therefore, so the question is it a valid vipassana instruction? Then therefore, it is not a valid vipassana instruction. A vipassana instruction means that the Dhamma talk is given to you, and that Dhamma talk is to help you to arouse the qualities of the mind that you do not have, or you have little. For example, a vipassana instruction is like how to develop that mindfulness, how to sustain that mindfulness. These are vipassana instruction, and this is applicable to you. You don't have enough concentration, then we tell you how to develop that concentration. If your wisdom is not strong, then we tell you how to develop that wisdom. And we have to tell you again and again and again and again. You do not know how to do your walking, then we tell you how to do your walking. You don't know how to do your sitting, we tell you how to do the sitting. You do not know how to overcome the sensual desire, then we tell you how to overcome the sensual desire. We tell you how to overcome the anger, overcome sloth and torpor. These are what we call instructions. And these instructions are the development part of it, the development of the things that you do not have, or you don't have enough, or not strong. And those things you have a lot, like your defilements or like your hindrances, then we teach you how to reduce them so that the wholesome part can able to develop. Then this will be the vipassana instructions. And we talk about that again and again, many parts of it. We are still, the Dhamma talks that we are going through, we are still in the Noble Eightfold Path. In the Noble Eightfold Path is all about cultivation, development, how to cultivate, how to bring about that sila of yours, how to have that concentration, how to have that right effort. These are all cultivation, and these are all connected as a vipassana instruction. All right? Now, if you are an instructor, if you are a teacher, and then you give a talk on this is not me, this I am not, this is not myself, then your audience in front of you, they are all beginner meditator. Do you think they will understand the concept that this is not me, this I am not, this is not myself? It's very difficult for them to understand. In fact, that I would say 95% of them may not be able to understand. So this is the resultant. You tell the yogis that when you develop the mindfulness, you develop the wisdom, you develop the concentration, you develop the right effort, the sila and all that thing, then you will come to this is not me, this is I'm not, this is not myself. Then when you tell them like that, then okay. But this is not the main instruction. This is not the main instruction. But sometimes there are people with a very high development from a past life. Just like when there's during the Buddha's time, in the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, the Buddha was giving the talk, this is not me, this I am not, this is not myself. After that, the Dhamma talk, this one become enlightened. This one become enlightened. Uh, can you talk and talk and talk, but still cannot get enlightened? Why? Because these are the very small percentage of people, or this is a very negligible percentage of beings who can able just to understand the resultant. They know how to practice already. For us, we are so deluded. We tell you Nibbana is great. Yeah, we also don't care, don't bother. Yeah, we tell you about enlightenment is wonderful. We also don't care, don't bother. Yeah. So this is not a good vipassana instruction. This is more like understanding. This is the resultant of a vipassana development. No, sometimes I've heard, sometimes yogi or vipassana yogis, sometimes too bad. They go in and out of a retreat after retreat. They have vague idea of how to do a walking meditation or vague idea how to do a sitting meditation. And the vague idea about doing, what do you call that? Daily activities, how to be mindful in those things. Because very vague idea, especially like walking meditation, they take it for granted. Just walk up, walk down, go and see the birds, go and drink coffee, go and sit down, tea, open eyes, play here and there, talking and all that, those things. That means when they go into a retreat, hardly they have proper vipassana instruction or hardly a meditation instruction. Then therefore, when they don't have this meditation instruction, then they do not know how to develop. They do not know how to cultivate that what needs to be cultivated, what needs to be abandoned. It's not being done. But when they know about 16 insight knowledges. They know about anatta, anicca, dukkha, anatta, or they know all these things, They know about this characteristic and that characteristic of this one. They know about how many consciousness can come and go when you are seeing and so on. They know about what is nibbana. They know about how many level of what they call that, enlightenment. They know about sotapanna. They know about how many fetters is being eradicated and so on. So all these things are resultant. And sometimes teachers are teaching a lot of this resultant of meditation, which is good. It's very inspiring to hear all these things. But coming to actual development, neither here nor there. Because these things I've seen in many times when I go for a retreat. That time I already know how to meditate already. But when I listen, there are many, sometimes beside me, there are many new yogis. And then sometimes the teachers are talking, and they're talking about the result, and they're talking about this 16 insight knowledge and all that to the new yogis. And then hardly they talk about how to walk, how to note, how to label, how to do this, how to do that. Hardly they talk about it. That's why the yogis are mong cha cha or do not know what is going on. So a lot of times I've seen that, but of course as a yogi that time, I don't bother. This is not my retreat. I don't do that. So you see, in my retreat, it's the cultivation is more important. If you do not know about the 16 insight knowledge, doesn't matter, because if you cultivate well, you will reach that by direct experience, not by concept only. Now, if you really want to cultivate, then when you cultivate, then there'll be a time that this is not me, this am I not, this is not myself. You will arrive in here. So this is not a valid vipassana instruction, especially for beginners and especially for most people. As you say, put it as instruction, but as a Dhamma talk, not to say it's bad, but also you have to see what is your audience also. Who is trying to receive. If your audience is a very knowledgeable, they are practitioner, then this one is a good talk for them. Then if those practitioner, they are quite highly developed, then you talk about instruction, and then bored, you get bored with it, but you go into a more deeper level, then they're more appreciative of this thing. So this is on the instruction. So since your number 2 is since I say it's not a valid, then of course if for the 5% of people, if you tell them this is impermanent, this is not everlasting, it ceases, they also know how to meditate already. They also know how to meditate, because to them it's the same thing. You tell them the resultant, they know how to reach there. But for us, we cannot do that. For us, we cannot do that. Okay? We need to talk about how to develop certain qualities of the mind, how to do this, how to do that, how to not to do this, how to not to do that. Then that is a valid Vipassana instruction. Okay? Next question. Question 5. All right. This question is also for many of you also. We always think why our meditation no progress, or we just didn't find time to sit. Is this purely on ignorance, or is it our merits not enough to support us? What should we do? Sister Hun Ling. And this one is a very, this is a question that many of us are facing, So what can we do then? What can we do? Let us talk about this first. Our progress does not come in, or we didn't feel satisfied with our progress, because every time we look at the meditation, it's all the same thing. And then over time, sometimes, especially in the daily practice, if you go in looking at the same thing again and again, then after you get bored. You get bored with it. You get bored with it. After that, when you get bored, your time of meditation getting shorter, then one day also you give up on meditation. Yeah? Now, is it purely on ignorance? Is it our merits not enough to support us? I think also both. I think both. But mostly it's ignorant. Mostly it's ignorant. Not our merits, maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more. Now, you want to progress in your meditation. You want to develop in your meditation, that means you have to put a lot of your time into it. Your mind has to be very firm and very strong to develop that. Then, sometimes when it comes into a retreat, for example, when I start a retreat, then certain devotees come and see me. Bante, oh yeah, this time cannot join your retreat. Why cannot join the retreat? Because I got other Buddhist activities, like, for example, maybe I have to organize a conference, of a Buddhist conference. Therefore, I am engaged into it. Therefore, I cannot come for the retreat. Okay, fine, no problem. Or you have other Buddhist function to attend, which is not meditation. It can be organizing a trip. It can be Sunday school. It can be some activities, And then with that, your mind is not You know that doing good is wonderful, but you do not know how to prioritize your doing of good deeds, that you want to develop of the meditation, and yet you want everything also, because those things other than meditation give you joy, give you happiness, everyday happiness. It give you joy. So a lot of times we want to get involved into those type of things. When we get involved into those things, that means you have responsibility there. You're going to put in your time there. And this is not like one ad hoc thing, and then this is like time and time and time again. You have to involve in those things. If you really want to progress in meditation, especially in Vipassana, because Vipassana is the most difficult to do in everything about Buddhism. Vipassana is the most difficult. So here we are taking the most difficult practice that can be done. Because controlling the mind is the worst thing that we can do. And it takes a lot of time for you to be able to control and therefore able to progress. Now, for those who are really want to, I've seen for those who really want to development into this progress of meditation, and here also there are all other responsibility. No matter what goodness that you do, you have to give it up. You have to finally give it up, and then just mind is just only on that mental development. Then only you can really progress. And that also is difficult to progress, What more when we have all the other baggage that we are holding on, because those things, we thought that it gives us happiness, is wholesome, but we are still holding on. It's difficult for us to let go. So if you really want to progress in this one, we have to let go of everything, a lot of things. Yeah. We have to let go a lot of things. And with those who are really into making an adhitthana or adhitthana, you're making a firm determination that you want to really get out of this cycle of birth and rebirth, and your mind is pure about it, and your mind is clear about it, and you know that you can perhaps most probably, you want to achieve it in this very life. Then that time, you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared now, because your mind will let go of a lot of things. Those people that is connected to you, those friends that is connected to you, you also will not see them that much already. The activities that you also slowly you will let go of them because of that enlightenment. Now, until you have that determination, that pure determination of wanting to get enlightened and to get out of the cycle of birth and rebirth, before that, you're going to have a lot of all this attachment of wholesome deeds and so on. Dana, this and that. A lot of this are going to be, you're going to hold on to it. Yeah. Now, of course, in the meantime, we are in a situation like the whole world is in a pandemic. You can't go for a retreat. When you don't go for a retreat and so on, if you can able to meditate, then well and good. For a lot of us, we're not able to meditate, then cannot meditate for so much, then do a lot of good deeds. But when the time to come and the time is open up, and you really want to meditate, then a lot of your things you have to put aside already. Put aside, and then one thing only, you go for meditation. And then that time, you can actually really progress. You can really progress. Then you don't have to worry about merits and so on. But then, of course, in certain situation in life, some people or a lot of us also, merits also perhaps also not enough. The right merits, not to say the right merits also we may not have enough. That is to say, perhaps that we have a lot of responsibility. we have children to feed. We are not like born with a silver spoon in our mouth. We are born with a 7-figure numbers in our bank. We're born with hardly anything. So we don't have much like financial support when we have to work daily. We got to work, and then we have to provide for families and so on. Although we wish to go further, but due to our so-called lacking of better merits, and not to say that you don't have good merits, but you don't have a better merits, then you don't have much of a condition to meditate. Yeah? For example, a lot of us also may want to go for meditate, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then they don't have, because they have to go back to work. If they don't go back to work, the boss will fire them already. Then what can you do? Already, what can you, I mean, you're not going to get anything already, right? Because it's part of your rice bowl, in other words. Yeah? So perhaps maybe also not enough merits, maybe, but that can be overcome because in the present life, we can change the condition. It's a matter of how much your understanding, your wisdom, of your development takes place in this life. So what should we do if you really want to progress? Now, if you cannot this one, then try to meditate as much as you can. Just like the question number 1, you meditate different type of form of meditation. And in the meantime, while we cannot go for a retreat, do a lot of number of good deeds and so on, But when the time to come when the time to go a retreat, you must be able to let go of all other burden, wholesome burden, not to say that you give up your career and so on, not necessary that, but other things that is connected to other, like all other Buddhist activities, you got to put them all aside already, and just only one thing only, meditation only. And then only we can really go for it. That time, you'll see your mind is so much more able to settle down rather than thinking of all these things. Yeah? All right. Let me see. No more already. Okay. That's it for the night. Yeah? We'll continue the Dhamma talk on the Monday again. And okay. Now we share merits.